somebody needs to say something because I know somebody knows something.
Well, happening today, a new conversation over the rash of car break-ins across New Orleans. The new action being taken by the NOPD as neighbors are fed up.
Plus, a car crash leaves a woman and her unborn baby dead. What investigators say could be a factor in her death.
And President Trump's impeachment trial could end as soon as today. The major developments overnight and the vote set to happen. That and more on WDSU News this morning.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WDSU News this morning.
And right now, a cloudy and wet start to the day. We are tracking rain on the radar this morning, and it could last throughout the day. Hopefully, it'll clear up by tomorrow when one of the first Carnival crews hits the streets here in New Orleans. Good morning to you. I'm Randy Russo.
I'm Charles Divins. Yeah, hopefully everything clears up. But let's talk about what's happening right now. Here's meteorologist Quaylen Murphy with the latest.
Hey, good morning. We'll be well into dry conditions by tomorrow evening, which is good news. And we'll actually see most of the rain wrapping up by lunchtime today. For now, showers are going to be with most of you for your commutes heading out. We are seeing drier conditions, though, if you're around Tangipahoa Parish, but all other areas south, of course, from the coast up into parts of Mississippi, seeing some light to moderate rainfall. Storms passing over near Triumph. Those are now into Chandelier Sound. Showers continue for Terrebonne and Lafourche parishes, and all wet over the city along I-10, stretching towards New Orleans east up into the Twin Span. Still some wet conditions along the Causeway Bridge. Here's that low tracking east, and once that pulls away, our rain chances will end. 50s right now for temperatures. Highs this afternoon, upper 50s and low 60s, and we're finished with the rainfall today too. More details on that coming up. Randy and Charles, back to you.
Well, new this morning, attorneys for the New Orleans Saints will be in civil court today, along with the Archdiocese of New Orleans. This over the sexual abuse crisis.
That's right. Attorneys representing abuse victims are suing the church, saying hundreds of confidential emails show that the team actively helped decide which names should or should not be included in the Archdiocese list of credibly accused clergy. However, the Saints organization maintains its PR work on the Archdiocese of New Orleans sexual abuse crisis was, quote, minimal. That list has become a key point in the controversy surrounding the team since news of the Saints' emails broke last week. At 6:02 now, the impeachment trial against President Trump could end as soon as today, with a vote expected on whether or not to call new witnesses.
Yeah, so the question and answer period is now over, and Aixa Diaz is live for us in Washington with this new phase of the process. Good morning.
Good morning, Charles and Randy. We expect that vote on witnesses to happen late today, and that will decide if this trial ends in a matter of days or if it goes on for weeks.
The magic number is 51. That's how many senators it takes to either allow witnesses or shut them out of the trial.
I think it's time to hear from the witnesses.
All 47 Democrats are expected to vote yes. That means 4 Republicans would have to side with them. Susan Collins and Mitt Romney say they do want to hear from witnesses. But Lamar Alexander, who was on the fence, says there's no need for more evidence. Lisa Murkowski is a maybe, but even if she votes yes, that doesn't get Democrats to 51.
The president will be acquitted in a bipartisan manner.
President Trump is charged with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, accused of pressuring Ukraine to investigate the Bidens while withholding military aid as leverage.
It is the normalization of lawlessness, but that is what they've had to resort to as the evidence has continued to pile up of the president's guilt.
President Trump's defense says he did nothing wrong and argues the issue of witnesses puts the burden on the Senate when the House is the chamber that brought the charges.
And then this chamber will have to be issuing the subpoenas. That's not the way that this chamber should allow impeachments to be presented to it.
So what happens if there's a 50-50 tie on witnesses? Well, some say that means automatically this issue dies. But Chief Justice John Roberts could be the tiebreaker. It's unclear, though, if he would actually take that step and vote on that. Live in Washington, Aixa Diaz, WDSU News.
Big numbers game there, Aixa. Thank you for that. And President Trump, to be convicted of these charges against him and removed from office, 2/3 of the Senate would have to vote guilty, which is unlikely to happen given the Republican majority. Well, happening today with public outcry growing every single day. New Orleans Chief Sean Ferguson takes on the growing issue of car break-ins during a press conference set for later on this afternoon.
Yeah, so the chief will not only address community concerns, but talk about some recent arrests that have been made during this most recent outbreak. As Heath Allen tells us, the solution, well, it just can't come soon enough. Heath, good morning.
Good morning, Charles. Good morning, Randy. You are absolutely right. Folks across the city of New Orleans, scores of people across the city of New Orleans, want to hear what Police Chief Sean Ferguson has to say about this rash of car break-ins, car burglaries that really is turning into an epidemic, if you will, across the city of New Orleans. People are frustrated. A lot of people have been broken into now more than once. Local car repair shops are seeing the numbers of glass, the numbers of windows that they're replaced go right through the roof. Some residents say they don't even feel safe now getting up early in the morning or overnight in the dark, going out to their cars. And the real fear is that something really tragic might happen if this rash of car break-ins continue. And so they want to hear from the chief.
Somebody needs to say something, because I know somebody knows something. Whether it's children, teenagers, obviously they don't have a place of their own. They're breaking into someone's things.
We have customers we've been doing business with for years, and when you see them come in like this lady here, yesterday and today, 2 glasses in 2 days, you can't help but feel for them. Nobody wants to put out that kind of money for something that's basically useless.
We've seen car break-ins now in churches. We've seen it on both sides of the lakes. It's really kind of, as we say, getting to the epidemic proportion. Now, Police Chief Sean Ferguson expected to meet the press, if you will, at 2:30 this afternoon. His district captains will be along with him. We're going to hear about him address community concerns. Also talk about some arrests they've made here recently in connection with these car break-ins. So we'll be bringing that to you. You can watch for it on social media, of course, and then on our newscast at 4, 5, and 6 tonight. Guys, back to you.
Definitely keeping a close eye on that one. Heath Allen for us, thank you very much. Well, a car crash in Kenner kills a 22-year-old woman and her unborn child.
Yeah, she was in the latter stages of her pregnancy, too. Kenner police tell us that the 2-vehicle crash happened on West Esplanade Avenue yesterday afternoon, and right now road rage is being considered as a factor. The vehicle, driven by Jade Lewis, swerved off the road, hitting this power pole, killing her and her unborn child. But check this out, just a short distance ahead, another vehicle hit another power pole, splitting this thing in half. The driver was hurt, but their condition is unknown this morning.
I heard a big loud, it sounded almost like an explosion and a big, like a roar. I felt so sorry for that poor girl and her family, because I always look at it, it's always somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, somebody's loved one,
Police are still investigating and say there could be possible criminal charges to follow. No suspects have been named or arrests made. And this comes as a carnival crew is remembering the lives lost from that deadly crash during the Endymion Parade last year.
Yeah, the crew of Red Beans and the Faubourg St. John Neighborhood Association are bringing awareness to promote bicycle and pedestrian safety. So tomorrow they will host a Tour de Bean. It's going to honor Cherie Walls, who was a member of the crew, and David Hines, who was from Seattle. The two were killed the night of the parade by Tashanti Tony, who police say was drunk behind the wheel. 7 others were injured. Organizers say the event will combine community safety planning and a celebration of life. It's happening from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Esplanade Avenue at Fauché Park. In St. Charles Parish, multiple investigations are now underway at Special Angels Outreach in Luling.
This all comes after this video surfaced showing a 1-year-old being dragged down the hallway of the daycare. We spoke with the child's mother and the owner of that daycare.
It was just a bad day. It wasn't malicious. If I treated him like that all the time, he wouldn't come to me.
I had to tell myself, don't watch this video anymore because it's hard to watch. Just be careful who you trust your kids with.
The sheriff's office said the investigation is ongoing. The Department of Education is also investigating.
The coronavirus now a public health emergency. How many people have been infected so far? The number of cases now in the U.S.
And the Los Angeles Lakers hitting the court for the first time tonight after Kobe Bryant's death. What they're doing today to honor he and the others lost.
And it's a rainy start to your Friday morning. We have a closer look at your forecast. That's straight ahead.